In this problem, I'm going to show you how to pull different data from different columns just using a drop-down. In this problem, I'm going to show you how to convert these random times into structured time formats. In this problem, I'm going to show you how to create a summary by date from these raw date values.
Welcome back to another Reddit Excel video where I'm going to be going through some problems on Reddit regarding Excel, and I'm just going to be trying to solve them. If you like these videos, just don't forget to drop a like. Let's get into it.
So in this problem, this person wants to be able to change a drop-down and it will return the data below these headers just based on the drop-down selection. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I've gone ahead and created this data. First thing we're going to need to do is create a drop-down. So we're going to go to the data tab and then data validation. We're going to select list, and as the source, we're just going to highlight headers. Press OK, and that should be working. And then in order to do our summary, we're going to need to make use of CHOOSECOLS, which will basically allow us to return a specific column. And our data that we're going to return is this. We're going to exclude the headers for this. And our column number is going to be based on this number. But first we need to find out where that is in our list of data. So we're going to use XMATCH. Our lookup value is going to be our drop-down cell. And then our lookup array is going to be this header section. And then we're going to put 0 for an exact match. And as you can see, that automatically spills based on the number of rows you got, and it updates with the dropdown. So this person has some random times and they want them to convert into actual time codes so that they can probably manipulate them. So let's dive straight in. So I've gone ahead and created some raw data, and I'm going to split this into different helper columns just to make it easier to follow. So as you can see here, sometimes there's 4 characters, sometimes there's 5, and it depends on what the actual value is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we extract the hour value. And to do that, we're going to make use of an if function. We're going to check if the length of this is 4. Because then we only want to grab the very leftmost character. So we're going to add 1 here. And then if it's not 4, which means it's 5, then we're going to need to grab the first 2 values. And that's our first helper. And then for the next part, we're going to want to grab the minute values, which again, because based on the length of the string, the position of it will change. So we're going to use an if again, same length again. And if that's equal to 4, then we're going to need the values from the middle of it. Our start character is going to be the second one, and we want 2 always. Then if it's 5, then we're going to need to use mid again. But our start character is going to be the third value, this one. And we always want 2 results. So now we've extracted the minute value. Then we're going to need to know whether it's AM or PM. So we can use right, because it's always going to be the rightmost character. And then to combine all together into a time value, we're going to use time value. And then we're going to need to join up some of these values. So we're going to have our hour joined with a colon to the minutes, which is going to be joined with a space and our PM or AM indicator. As you can see, that gives us a value, but it's in a weird format. So we're just going to change it to a time value, like so. So this person has a date column and units received, and they basically want a breakdown where it will show them the totals based on every day of the week. They've already used count if and weekday, but they're struggling to get it to work. So let's dive straight in. So first we're going to add our days in here. So if we type Monday in, then if we drag this down, it will automatically grab that pattern. There's two ways to do this. The first one's with a helper column, and we're going to make use of text to convert this value into the full day, and we're going to use that with 4Ds like that, and it's going to give us the format we want. So then in here we use a SUMIF, check this range for this value, and then we're going to sum the units received, and that does that. And then simply for the percentage, use the units divided by the sum of all the units, and then we'll use that as a percentage. Then the other way to do this, so the other way is a little bit more complicated, and we're going to use the SUMPRODUCT. So let's wipe that, and then we're going to use SUMPRODUCT. And our first thing we're going to do is the text thing again, and we're going to need to select our values for that because it doesn't work on the whole column. And we're going to make sure that these are fixed as well using F4. And our criteria is still the same, so equal to this date. And then the next bit is the units received. And again, we're going to need to select our values and make sure they're fixed. So that returns as 0. The reason why is because this condition returns as you can see here, true or false, but we don't really want that. We want like 1s and 0s. So the way to do that is to add this double minus sign, and then we'll wrap this whole section in brackets, and then it will calculate correctly. And then this percentage is 0.
So there's been another Reddit Excel video. I hope you guys have liked that. If you want to see more of this and you have any other problems that you want me to discuss, feel free to drop a comment below. I've also created a subreddit for these sort of things. So if you have any questions, just drop me a message, one of those places, and I'll try and include it in a future video. So yeah, if you like that, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.